Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sheena Abraham, and in today's episode, you will be learning the basics of R programming. You will learn how many types of data types are there in R programming. You will learn arithmetic operations and operators in R programming. You will learn the logical operators in R. You will learn the usage of if, then, else in R. You will learn looping using for loop, while loop, and repeat in R. You will also learn the usage of break and next in R programming. When we talk about the data types in R, basically there are four different data types which we popularly use, that is numeric, integer, character, and boolean. Numeric data type. By default, when you assign any variable, it creates a numeric data type. Numeric is when you assign any value, you can directly assign a numeric data type. 3.5. For example, here I have created 3.56 in a variable num. It will create a numeric data type. There is no need to declare any data type of variable in advance, like how we use in other programming language. First we have to declare the type of the variable and then we assign the values. But in our programming you can directly assign the variable. So here I have created a variable num 3 and assigned 3.56 in that. When I have created a numeric variable, it has created num. Num, we can see that value of num is 3.56. Now, if you want to check the data type, there is function called class and inside that num. Class num will help you to check the data type of the variable. And in detail, if you want to see that what type of numeric is this, that type of function will be used to find out the data types of num function. Now in this way we can create numeric data type. For example, if you want to create an integer data type, what is the difference between an integer and a numeric variable? Numeric variable is a variable while numeric values has a decimal option and an integer is a whole number between 0 to infinity. So if you want to create an integer variable in R, by default if you assign any variable like this n, if you assign as 5, so when you execute this and you will see that 5, by default the variable will not create, variable will not be a integer variable. How we check that? Class n. When I check the class of n, it is numeric, and I want in some cases, some situation, you feel like that you should have an integer data type, that is without fractions. So by default it will create a numeric data type. So to create an integer data type there is two options. Either when you assign a variable, at that time you have to write as dot integer in front of that. For example, if I want to create 5, I will write as dot integer 5. So it will assign in n variable 5 value. Now it will, if I see 5, and when I see to cross check it, when I run n class of n and check it, it will create integer. Now you can see that it has created an integer variable. So as dot integer is a function to convert a numeric variable to integer variable. For that this function can be used for creating an integer variable also. So as we can see that in R, we have various things as dot character, as dot factor, as dot integer. There are a lot of options are there, but here we will be using as dot integer, means from one character type to another data type. If you want to change, you can use as dot and in front of the new data type, that can be used. Other way to create an integer function, integer value variable, is that you have to put capital L in front of the integer. For example, if I have written 5L in assigned in L1, so it will create a value 5, and when I see the type is, it will show you an integer variable. So In that case, now there are two options. First is either you have to use as dot integer, or you have to assign a capital L in front of the integer. Now the third data type which we mostly use is boolean data type. When you say boolean data type, it has only two options, true and false. Since our programming is a case sensitive, you have to assign either capital true, you have to write capital true, or you have to write capital false. There is no other option in that. You have to say while, and when I say why, it is a logical operator. Boolean operators are data type is also known as logical function. When we will see false, it has given you the same thing. Now if you want to create a character, normally in other data type you see there is a difference between a character and a string, but in case of our programming, R treats everything as a character. Whether you want to assign a single character or you want to assign a series of characters, so it will be all is of character data type, but the only thing that you have to enclose between double quotes, the value should be enclosed. For example, now here I have created a variable name and I want to assign Salina. So I have created a variable day, and when I use it, it will show me Salina, and when I say the type of character name is character. So in this way, these are the data types which we mostly use in our programming is character, logical or boolean, integer and numeric. Now we will see the operators in our programming. So as we have many operators in our programming, such as, so here we see the various operators in our programming. So when you see operators in our programming, we all know plus, minus, multiplication and division. Plus, minus and multiplication and division is mostly used in all the programming languages. Two more additional operator is added in that. That is, one is integer division and another is modulus. So when you are seeing plus, I will just show what is the plus sign. If I created a variable n, and if I say 5 plus 4, so 5 plus 4 will take is like a plus operator. It will give me, that is called plus operator 9. In place of plus sign, if you put minus, it will give you subtraction. And then if you, for multiplication, you have to use asterisk sign. 5 into 4, so it will give you a multiplication answer. If you want to use a division, now if I want to divide 5 divided, I will use a forward slash. And now you can see the division. The answer of division is coming in numeric. So if I want the answer of division in numbers, I don't want the answer in numeric. I only just want the quotient part of the division. When I divide, we will get a quotient and a remainder, right? So I want to see the quotient part. To see the quotient part, I will use percent forward slash and again percent sign. So this is called integer division, in which we will get the quotient part of our programming. For example, 25 divided by 4, in the quotient it comes to 6 and the remainder it will comes to 1. To see the remainder, the operator is plus percentage percentage, that will give you a remainder option. So for example, if you want to see a remainder, then it gives you 1. So means that percent division forward slash and percent will give you a integer value and integer quotient value, and here percent will give you a remainder value. So these are the two operators, which is new operator in our programming. Now the third is assignment operator. In the program, in the previous session also, we have always used this less than sign and hyphen as a assignment operator. But if you wish, you can use the two less than sign and hyphen also as an assignment operator. If you want, hyphen and greater than also can be used as assignment operator, and you can use equals to also as an assignment operator. For example, if I use hyphen and greater than, at that time I will be writing a value here 5 and then assigns to n3. So in this way, if I want, I can write 5 is assigned to n3. Otherwise, normally we write n3. In n3, we assign 5. So if you are using less than operator, then less than hyphen, then you will, this statement should be written this way. Otherwise, the statement should be written that way. But both will work as an assignment operator. Now we will see the next is the logical operator. As we all know that the logical operators are logical and, logical or, and not. When you say logical and, or, and not, most of the time it is used in case of checking condition, when you want to check the conditions. So we will see the usage in further explanation of the lecture. Now, after the logical operator, now we will see branching of the code. For example, if I want to execute this statement, if the condition is true, I want to print something. If the condition is false, I want to print something else. That time there is a feature called if, else, and then option. If, else, and then option. So if, else can be used in our programming in two ways. Single line if can be possible, and the multiple line if can also be possible. Now here we will see first single line if. In single line if, for example, here I have checked that I have created a if. Here I want to check if the gender, if the age is greater than 18. If the age is greater than 18, I want to print eligible for voting. Eligible for voting. And if age is not greater than 18, I want to print not eligible for voting. So for the false, if the condition is false, whatever statement returned in front of else, it will execute that statement. So I will say print not eligible for voting. So in this case, I will execute. So now we will see the execution of this part. Control, enter. Now here, since we know that the age is assigned is 23, so we can see that all the variables, whatever we are creating is, we can see in this block, history block, environment block, we can see the all the variables and values which is created. So here we can see that age is given 23. So age is assigned as 23. Here what I am checking, if age is greater than 18, then print eligible for voting, else print not eligible for voting. For example, if I reduce the age to 13, so now see, we can see that it will execute not eligible for voting. You can see here it is showing not eligible for voting. Same thing we can use. Now for example, if I want to use check two conditions simultaneously, so we have a logical operators and operator. In case of and operator, the functionality of and operator is that if both the conditions are true, if both the conditions are true, then only it will print the true block, and if any of the condition is false, it will print false block. In case of and operator, both the condition is true, then it will print true block, that is then block, and or else it will print the false block, that is else block. So here we can see gender is female. We have executed gender and age. I will run once again. Gender is F, age is 13. So now according to you, what should be displayed? Gender is false, not it here male, and here we can say age is what? Greater than 21. So actually it should say not eligible for marriage. So the answer you can see not eligible for marriage. So when you are putting two conditions in the if block, you have to put first condition in a bracket, that is, and when you compare the operator, the now comparison operators, as we all know that there are 6 type of comparison operator, that is less than sign. I will just write here for you. Comparison operator, that is less than sign, greater than sign, less than equals to, then comes to greater than equals to, then equals to sign. If you want to check whether it both are equal or not, you will be using double equals to, and other is not equals to. Exclamation and equals to is not equals to. These are the comparison operators. So here I want to compare gender equals to male, so I will use double equals to. Here I want to say age is greater than equals to 21. If both the condition is true, print this. So this way we can use a single liner if else statement. Now if I want to, if in the true case I want to execute many more statements, and in the false state I also want to execute a block of statements, that time I will use the format in this way. You can see, if condition is this, if this condition is true, the entire block will be executed, the entire block will be executed. Okay, and if the condition is false, this else block will be executed. So for this example, what I have taken as an example here is, if the grade is 1, if the grade is 1, basic pay will be 9,000, DA will be 70% of the basic pay, HRA will be calculated as 20% of the basic pay. And for any other grade other than 1, if you enter, at that time the basic pay will be 5,000, DA is 60% and HRA is 10% of the basic pay. And in this we have to calculate the gross pay. And the formula of the gross pay here, what is that? Basic pay plus DA plus HRA we have taken as a formula for gross pay. This is an assumption. This is not based on any of the company rule of the salary, just an assumption for the to teach you the program. So now we will take a input from user. To accept the input from user, we will write read line prompt. In that we have to mention what you want to accept, enter grade. And since whatever I am entering, it will be taking by default as a character type. So I have to convert this as into integer. So I will use as dot integer. So I will execute this grade. Now here we will enter 1. Here enter grade 1, enter. So once the grade is accepted, then I will say calculate the basic salary. So now for the basic salary calculation, I will execute the TA and then I will print the basic salary. So here we can say that total salary base is 17,100 for basic salary 9,000. So now we can see here, I hope that you have understood the code. Here also in the, here I have calculated the total salary, and when I am printing it, if I print directly total salary, there is two options, that I can print directly TS. I can print directly total salary. For example, but if I want to combine my explanation, a string, a variable, and then another string, if I want to do that way, then I have to use a paste function. Paste function is used to append the combine the arguments. So using paste function, I have combined this string total salary, then the value of TS, then a basic salary string, and the value of basic. So in this way I have displayed. So this is my entire program. So I hope that you have understood the program, and also you have understood the usage of if block. If condition, there is no need to write then. By default, whatever is written within the immediate curly braces is considered as a true block, and else, and whatever is written within the curly braces of the else block is considered as a false block. Now next we will see the other looping. In looping, for if what we do, if I want to execute a same statement again and again, again and again for n number of time, we will be using loop. For using a loop, we are having a function called for. Using for, you can use a loop function. Now for will take a values, how many, for any loop, three things are very important: initial value, final value, and the condition. So by default, it creates that. So for that, you have to tell a vector. For example, here I have created a sequence s equals to 1 colon 10, means that s is a value which has 1 to 10. Here you can see it has created a variable s and it has value 1 to 10. So for I will create a variable I in s. It means that it will take one by one values of s. So it will take one value of s, 1, then 2, then 3, that way, and it will execute number of times the value of s is having. So for example, the value of s is starting from 1 to 10, it will execute 10 times. If the value of s is 1 to 20, then it will execute 20 times. So here we will see. So you can see good morning 4, good morning 5. How many times it executed? Good morning 10 times. Similarly, for example, in place of a sequence, if I want to pass another value, different type of value, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. In S, for loop will take these values one by one. As I will take first value 2, then 3, then 7, then 8, and then 9. So I have returned a program. I have taken all this value one by one, and I want to check how many of these values are even or odd. So what I will do, I will check the remainder. I will divide the value of I with 2, and I will check if the remainder is 0, I will print even, or else I will print odd. So here I have passed the values in for loop. The first value which comes to for loop is 2. The second value 3, 7, 8 and 9, so on will come. So here we will execute and we will see how the output will work. Here you can see the output is even, odd, odd, even, odd. Even is 2 is even, 3 is odd, 7 is odd, 8 is even, 9 is odd. So in this way we can use the for loop. For loop. And now the next looping is, we can do looping using a while loop also. For a while loop, it will not function automatically. You have to explicitly specify the initialization and you have to execute it. So here we have taken a program to display a table of any number. Like for example, I will ask the user for which table they want to execute. For example, user is telling me to that I want to execute this 3. So I will run, enter 3. So after entering 3, then since we all know that the value of 3, user has given a value of 3. User has given a value 3. So now after 3, we will say now how the table functions. First we say 3 ones are 3, 3 twos are 6, 3 threes are 9. It goes on like that, and 3 tens are 30. So we want to calculate till 10. So first value is 1 and the last value is 10. So first value I will take I equals to 1, and in the while I will put the condition I is less than equals to 10. How many times it has to be executed, this loop? This entire block has to be executed 10 times. So first it has to execute the number, multiply the number with 1 and give the result and print the result. For the formatting part, we have used the paste function. Then I have changed the value of 1 to 2. This way it goes on, and then it will display 1 to 10. So here we can say 3 into 1, 3, 3 into 2, 6. So this is the beauty of paste, that in paste I have created the format of display. But otherwise, if you don't want to use paste, if you directly print the R function, you can say how the R will display. The R will be displayed as, so we will say the value of I. So 3, 6, 9, 12, in this way it will display. So this way also while is also a form using which we can do loop. For example, if I want to, there is one more feature of using a loop is a repeat. In case of repeat, it will neither check a condition. It is only a statement you will write repeat, and within the curly brace you have to write the block. But if you want to successfully execute any of the programming language, you will say I equals to 1 repeat, and then you have to go on like this. So now When you say these things in this repeat function, what you will be doing, that you have to explicitly define everything. I equals to 1 you will define, and then you will write repeat block, and now where you will put the condition. Now the question is that you have to click a condition. I will say repeat yes, I have to print s 10 times, so means that here I have given a condition. If I equals to 10, then break. If break means break will take your the control out of the loop. So I equals to 10, then it will give say break, and then it will, I have incremented, means that it will repeat 10 times. When the value of I will reach to 10, it will give a break. So for you, just note down that the usage of break is to take the loop out of the take the control out of the loop. So wherever you have to put a condition and where you want to break it, take the control out of the loop, explicitly you have to write this. Otherwise it will take you to the infinite loop. Now this is the usage of break. Now we also have a clause called next. Next will not take you to out of the loop, next will take you to the beginning of the loop again. So where and how we will use next. So in next we will be using like s equals to 1 to 10. I don't want to print even numbers, I only want to print odd numbers. So what I will do, I have used a for loop I in s, so it will take one by one all the values. I have in the if condition, I have checked whether it is even or odd by checking with the remainder. If the remainder is 0, it is even, and in front of that I have given next, means that it will not execute this printf for even values. If it is not true, and it will take you back to the beginning of the control, and we will see, we will execute it. Now you can see 1 3 5 7 9. It means that if this condition is true, it has not executed the consecutive statement print I, rather it has taken you to the beginning of the loop again. So that is the usage of next. So in today's class we have learned data types, arithmetic operator, comparison operators, uh, assignment operator, logical operators, the usage of if, else, and for all the for loops, for loop, while loop, and repeat, and the usage of break and next command. I hope that you have understood the session. If you have any doubt, you can ask me from the comment section. Thank you.